Welcome back after the break. We are now joined by Mrs. Neena Prasad as well. Welcome to the show, ma'am. Your husband had recently he'd undergone a liver transplant. So, how did you detect it in the first place?
Well, he had some complaints like he was obese a bit and all that, but he's a lawyer, and when he was one day at the court, he had a bleeding like that. So when we went to the doctor, then it was a gastric problem. That was the first mentioning about it. When we went through the endoscopy and all, yeah, he might develop a liver problem. That's what we were said.
And when was this?
This was 1.5 years back.
Okay.
1.5 years
That was
back.
the first ever complaint?
Yeah, that was the first ever complaint. And, suddenly then he used to have this regular habit of eating. Nothing else but then regular habit of eating a lot, So,
Okay.
and finally, when one day he was cutting a mango, and then it accidentally cut his finger, and he had this he got stitched and all that, but then the bleeding never stopped. It went for 8 to 9 days like that, and finally again he had this internal bleeding, because liver patients will have the tendency to bleed more. We didn't know about it.
Internal bleeding?
Internal bleeding.
What condition is that, doctor?
That the platelet will come.
So that is called hematemesis.
Okay.
So vomiting of blood, blood inside the gastrointestinal tract. There is also because of dilated veins in the esophagus called esophageal varices. The underlying mechanism is called portal hypertension. That is because the liver is cirrhotic.
Okay.
So, like she rightly pointed out, the liver being cirrhotic manifests as portal hypertension, esophageal varices, and vomiting of blood. At the same time, because the liver makes all the proteins that cause the blood to clot, not having a working liver allows the blood to just keep on flowing, even from minor injuries. So, people bleed while brushing teeth sometimes.
So, by this is like high level, is it? And you need to be really on your...
Obviously, by the time you develop a bleeding tendency, you are essentially into the second or third stage of the liver failure. Obviously, only the first stage is medically curable. The second and the third stage are the ones where you need a transplant.
Okay, and after that what happened?
Yeah, we didn't know that it was second or third stage, and we also had a doubt that if it is second or third stage, will that be curable? Because people would
Did you detect it as a liver problem, liver cirrhosis?
After this heavy blood loss from his finger, I think platelets count and everything was too bad, and then at Trivandrum Medical College we were advised for a better medication, and they educated us with this transplant and everything.
Did he have a hereditary, or did he have an alcoholic problem, or a hereditary of the same illness?
His hereditary problem was, it was very obvious to him, because all his uncles and his mother he lost only because of this.
Liver
but the
problems.
uncles had this drinking problem. Amma, his mother, she used to take pills, as doctor mentioned earlier. I was hearing that. Even for a silly headache, she used to take paracetamol.
Does that, how does that figure in triggering cancer?
It does not figure in triggering cancer, but it may induce the cirrhotic process, or it may worsen. Particularly if you are taking injudicious amounts in a liver which is already predisposed to cirrhosis because of non-alcoholic steatohepatitis or other forms of inherited liver disorders. And if such an individual irresponsibly consumes a large amount of paracetamol, it might hurt.
What would you tell for people like that, doctor?
Two things. He didn't have a regular liver function test as usual, because that is needed. But we didn't know. We would check the pressure or the sugar, but not go for LFT.
Okay.
In a country where this drinking habits is growing, and also this junk food fashion is hiking up, you need to have a knowledge about this, because liver is the most important organ after all. And with the surgery, even the small things, I was wondering, he had that small black marks and black this thing, after the surgery. I was surprised that it was vanishing.
Okay.
I mean, about the decoloring of the skin and all that.
Skin, does it have an effect on the skin? What are the symptoms? Is that a part of the symptoms?
No, the small blood vessels called the capillaries, they become fragile in the presence of liver disease, and they tend to break down. So below the skin you will get small petechias, which are like small black spots of subcutaneous, like hemorrhage below the skin.
Okay.
And there will be sometimes very large ecchymotic patches. And sometimes
they present themselves very late. as well?
No, these are part of the early manifestations itself. Like, and of course, by the time they present it, the disease is, the disease is almost never medically curable by the time it presents. But this is not while they are about to die or something. So it is still manageable with, at least with transplant, by the time they present with these things. But oftentimes you have patients with variable size spots which are hemorrhages below the skin. Also people with liver failure, they develop a dark hue on their face. Their foreheads, their cheekbones, they develop like dark patches.
So any change in your skin as usual presents a problem?
Well, I wouldn't really want people to be scared when they when they catch a tan or when they become dark for several reasons. I don't want them to come rushing to us. But this, in combination with other features of liver failure, may sort of consolidate your suspicion.
Okay, and donors. You were told your husband had to take up surgery, transplant surgery, and how easy or difficult was it to find a donor, and how was the whole journey?
It was difficult in the sense that my husband was a heavy man, he was just above 110 like that. His normal weight is like that with the bone weight, normal bone weight. And so it is not very easy to get a liver of that weight, because weight actually counts for a transplant. And I am told by the doctor at least he needs a 2 kg weighing liver. And also they have this lobe measurement and all that, which should actually fit in. So it was, we were listed in Apollo, and he got into as 10th or 9th. And we waited, but then we were told that even if we come like first, and if the liver coming is of 80 kg, I mean it's a normal liver, that's not possible. So it is actually your destiny, I mean that the right thing will come to you.
But that is such crucial time, this waiting period for a liver.
Fortunately, we were treated, that's also very important. See, there is an orientation at first where you are actually taught on what is your condition is, and what you can take, and what is the like crucial period, and where you have to rush to doctor and everything. So we were keeping that intact, you should take high protein diet and all that, by keeping your exercises and all that. So one fine morning, this so happened that a cadaver came our way, and doctor did that for us.
Okay, so doctor, on a final note, what would you suggest the people to take care of their livers?
So I would say, one should be very careful about knowing one's state of health. One should be screened regularly for the most critical illnesses like the hepatitis B, hepatitis C. One should know whether one has diabetes and hypertension. Should be, if
so these people with diabetes, hypertension, BP, all of those people fall under the risk category?
Not the hypertension particularly, but the diabetes definitely.
Okay.
Yes. So these people should be aware of the existing health challenges, and they should take all possible precautions to keep these conditions under check through periodic master or preventive health checks done in comprehensive and reputed institutions, where they are done with the responsibility of providing care, not just as a marketing gimmick of sorts. Like she said, like certain tests which were very crucial in detecting liver disease early in the course of its course of the history of the disease were not done. So you should be undertaking these preventive checks where they are offered in a comprehensive manner.
Okay.
And one should be careful in following up the disease patterns, if they have any, with the due diligence to attend to its potential complications. And if one has a potential complication brewing, one should take the appropriate advice and treatment in time before it is too late. Most people can be salvaged if they present themselves at the right point in time.
A master checkup every year would help.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So, and thank you for busting that myth that ailments of the liver are not curable. As the doctor says, in Apollo here, the transplantations do happen. And thank you for joining us, doctor, and thank you, ma'am. And that is a wrap on Hands Up. So stay tuned to NDTV Hindu for more on this.